Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey and Cody win the titles, Judgement Day Dissension, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, Gunther, Bronson, Reed, Ivar, NXT, and so much more. Timmy, anything you got to say to all the Schmin-Lavelites out there?
If you're not listening to Jabroni Drive, you better. I meant to say, I messed it all up.
Let's see it. Do it again. Take two. Ready, go.
You better be listening to Jabroni Drive, because that's the bottom line. Because Tim Schmidt said so.
Can I get a hell yeah? Timmy, quite possibly the worst entrance we've ever done.
You know what?
I fumbled. You fumbled.
It was
a lot
bad.
of fumbling.
Yeah.
It's late.
Terrible.
We just got done watching NXT, and, we want to be putting these shows out consistently for you every week. New episodes coming out, and we're trying to do that for you and give you the content that you need. All things professional wrestling, particularly WWE, most part. A lot going on tonight. But first off, we want to thank you for listening. Please give us that follow, that share, that subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Anywhere podcasts are available. All podcast platforms and YouTube. Please give us a follow, a share, and a like. Thank you. We love you. So we have a lot to cover. Fastlane was this past weekend. A lot going down. We're going to go right to the top of the card. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Timmy, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this match real quick, and then you tell me what you think. We were watching the match, and I think we both agreed that it was a slow start, and it was slow, and I've been very critical of Seth Rollins. And it's not to say that I don't think he's great. I just think he never goes to great. It's always good as far as his matches go. I think his matches are always good, very good, really good, but never great for me. And so when I watch his matches, I'm very critical, and I'm waiting for that, wow, this is a classic match because of Seth Rollins. And I still haven't gotten that. Either way, this match started slow, and I always said, here we go again. This match, another Seth Rollins match that I'm not loving. I don't think is great. It's not really moving me. It starts to pick up in the second half, and I think a lot to do with that was Michael Cole and his announcing. At one point, he kind of puts a little more energy into his announcing. He says, Seth, get down from the ladder. You're going to ruin your back. And they really start going after the back, and he's getting flipped onto the concrete, and he's going off the ladders through the tables or dropping them on chairs. And it was an entertaining, and it was believable. And I thought, wow, this is getting better. And it got better, and it turned out to be really good. But what I noticed, I think the reason I don't love Seth Rollins' matches is that we're big fans of Gunther on this show, right? And Gunther lays it in. When he has a match, these guys are going out there and they're really beating each other. When I watch Seth, I see Seth and it's very safe. He's doing these moves that, they're high flying or very athletic and kind of like gymnastics. He does a lot of things that he hits people, but they don't really hit hard and connect. It doesn't lay it in for me. And I think that's the reason why I don't think his matches are that great. So I gave the match like a B. Thought it was a nice match, a good match. I thought Shinsuke was going to win. Seth comes out winning. That's fine. And, I was overall entertained. We learned more where it's going on Raw. But Timmy, your thoughts on the match overall and Seth Rollins? Am I crazy for being so critical of him?
No, I mean he's got a great character. He's got his catchphrases. He's got his music. Everything that is required of a WWE superstar. he moves the crowd. But yeah, you're right. Like the just his matches lack that energy for whatever reason. I think the last really good match that we saw with him was probably him and Cody Rhodes last year or 2 years ago, or was it 2 years ago or last year when he tore his pec, right? It was last year.
So it was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Um so that was pretty impressive. Maybe the Finn Balor matches were okay, but it just they're not memorable, right?
Right.
And
They don't
uh,
leave us like a Gunther match leaves us, I would say, where I'm like,
yeah, we
wow.
don't. Yeah, at the end we don't go, holy shit, dude, that was a banger. Yeah, so I mean, he's still an upper echelon wrestler. It's just uh, there's times where we're not critical of Gunther's matches, but we say that Gunther carries those matches, right? Same thing with like Austin Theory. We talk about Theory's matches and we say, man, he delivers, he can carry anyone in the ring. And when we watch these matches with Seth Rollins, we don't really see that same type of tenacity, if you will, and the same just the same effort and emphasis on Seth himself. And maybe it is, the wrestlers that he's taking on, right? That he's feuding with. Maybe that has something to do with it. I've been reading online. I've seen that he's getting a ton of credit for reviving, um, Shinsuke's character too as well, and bring him back into relevancy, if you will. Um, and then you see all these other things online about the top wrestlers in the business, and Seth Rollins is often considered to be one of those. So maybe look, I thought this match was going to turn out to be something different. We saw a last man standing match. You expect it to go out into the crowd. You expect some key spots where there's some danger involved, and we saw some of those. He takes the mist to the face and falls off the ladder through the table, which is a good spot. The Falcon Arrow through the two tables on Shinsuke out in the crowd. That was a nice spot too as well. So there was some decent spots, just nothing like crazy, nothing really nuts. But yeah, I expected him to lose that match and actually take some time off, because it is getting kind of tired a little bit, like the whole laughing thing, and he's just this whole back thing came out of nowhere. It's just an interesting spot that he's in right now, because now like they've now put him, it seems to be, into a feud with our boy Drew McIntyre. So we'll see how that plays out. But the match itself with Shinsuke was okay. It's still not like main event level.
Right. And I'm not seeing that. And now I think his character is really cool. And it's kind of a throwback to me. It reminds me of Macho Man a lot, like the way he's just so like outlandish and like his outfits and everything like that. But his even the singing of his song to me has turned into, it reminds me of the Seinfeld bit where he's talking about standing ovations and everyone kind of looks, are we doing this? It's just he says sing my song, and okay, I guess we gotta sing. And it's not necessarily like people are craving the whoa with Cody Rhodes, they're craving the LA Knight. Yeah, like you don't have to tell him to do it. You know what I mean? So it's that the
It's
character's
different though.
good, but he's
It's it
different.
it's different though, because he plays to the crowd and they play off of him. That's different, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's something that the crowd gets into. I don't feel like they're forced to do it at all. I mean, they do it while he's wrestling. I mean, during his matches, he's not all asking them to do it. They just start doing it. It's something the crowd does enjoy. They like doing it. I think a lot of the crowd that does these types of things, they feel like they're part of the match when they do something like that, right? They
Right.
feel like, I mean, you hear the LA Knight stuff where he's punching somebody and they're just doing, yeah, 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 right? Like, like you hear that all the time, and it makes them feel like they're part of the actual entertainment. So, I disagree with you there, but I just think, look, I think he needs just a whole rebranding here. Not rebranding, but like I don't know. He needs a better just feud, and maybe this McIntyre is something that will kind of spark him and put him in the limelight and put him in a better spot.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that because there's no denying that McIntyre is one of the best in the ring. I'm wondering if they'll lay it in, and I think that's just what's missing for me with Seth's matches is that story of taking the beating and keeping on going and taking the beating, that cliche, that saying from Rocky Balboa. It's not how hard you can hit, or it's not how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit. Like that's what Gunther's matches tell me when you have the underdog story and these guys are just getting beat down and beat down and beat down and they're trying it like I need that from Seth to take the beating. And this match had the potential to do that. And it had the spots, like you said. It just didn't tell the whole story. There was a lot of missing parts in between.
But Shinsuke is not that type of guy. Like
Right. He's doing the kicks and it's not hard hitting.
That's what I mean. Like now, I mean, when you throw McIntyre into this mix, he is a bruiser. He is exactly what you're looking for. And look, your preference might not be everyone else's preference too, Tom. Like
true.
You want to see guys flare chop each other and beat the shit out of each other and and just put a little bit more emphasis on how hard they're actually hitting each other, right? Like Seth doesn't seem to be that type of wrestler. Like we get these guys like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and Gunther. Not everyone's a Gunther. That's what makes Gunther so good, right?
I think I use Gunther as an example a lot. I don't necessarily need it to be Gunther, but Shawn Michaels could take a beating back in the day, and I think when Seth's selling it, it looks fake to me. I'm not believing it. He's making those faces, and it's just like, I don't necessarily believe it. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. This is a back and forth here, Tom. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of his opponent and his style that's a little bit different. So it'll be interesting to see him match up against Drew, like I said, and maybe he takes on a different style for you for this upcoming PLA.
Yeah, and we'll get into Drew McIntyre now. I think that's a good segue. But before we do that, the Shinsuke, I am looking forward to the Shinsuke Ricochet stuff too. I feel like they've been building that fairly well. And Shinsuke's character, I'm liking his vignettes and the darker side and kind of that attack from behind. And he's just he's a unique kind of character. And I'm also liking Ricochet has gotten a little bit more edgy, a little bit more, I think, of Ricochet as a human being. I think it started with Logan Paul, and I feel like you're getting him to kind of come out of his shell and be a little bit more intense, maybe. And I think his character needed that. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Sorry, before we go to Drew.
No, Shinsuke, I think they've done a nice job with figuring out how to connect him to the audience with the subtitles and letting him speak, his native tongue and being able to translate that in. I think it's easier that way for him to be relatable, right, to the WWE universe, and I think they'll continue with that moving forward.
Right. Yeah, I think he struggles with trying to speak English and get his character across, like to help him put his character across. I think you're right there. So Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins comes out and kind of teases maybe leaving a little bit. I thought for a second there he was going to turn the belt over and say, I've been through a lot the last couple months. Almost looked like he was getting a little teared up, and then, but I'm just getting started. And so I was like, okay, all right. Here I thought we were getting the moment of him relinquishing the title and maybe a tournament. Then hits Drew McIntyre's music, and he comes out and says that he wants a shot. And Drew McIntyre was cool, calm, collected, and kind of the development of his character is still going forward of, hey, if it doesn't involve me, I'm not getting involved. If someone's getting beat down, that's unless it involves me personally, I'm not doing anything for it. I'm on my own now. And kind of it makes sense as is we would all think in real life. Well, yeah, WWE's crazy. I'm not, hey, you're getting beat down. Oh, well, that sucks for you. I'm on my own here. And that makes sense, but it's still that kind of like the baby step forward of him becoming this heel character. He challenges Seth to the match at Crown Jewel. Timmy, I'm really looking forward to this match. We're going to have 3 weeks from Saturday to build to this match, tell the story. What are your thoughts? Is this going to be the match that puts me over the edge and I say, you know what? Finally, I've seen the light.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be a different type of style match for Seth, one that he hasn't been involved in. I mean, he hasn't really. I mean, look, he's taken on. So, I mean, you want a hard hitting match. I mean, he took on Brock Lesnar. He took about 15,000 suplexes. I mean, that's taking bumps left and right. I mean, that was pretty impressive. Yes.
Yeah. Wait, Seth versus Brock?
Yeah.
When was that? Like
Wasn't
4 years ago?
Wasn't that like, yeah, wasn't that like
At
8 years ago?
WrestleMania? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a long time ago. And he came
Yeah.
out with like he had like the Nightwalkers like eyelids, but the match was short. You know, Brock Lesnar's matches are all short. So did he take the beating? Yeah, he took the beating, but it was like a 7-minute match. You know, you
Uh,
can't really build that, real, going through that gauntlet and but he has faced Seth Rollins. Or Seth Rollins has faced Brock Lesnar. He's faced these bruisers before, and I just even that match, it started the show. It didn't, it was like it's a good match. It was a good match, and he had
uh,
matches against Triple H and all that other stuff. So he's gone against guys. The last one that I was really moved with him, honestly, was against Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble, where Roman not like passed him out on a illegal hold because he had grabbed a hold of the ropes. That's all. I was like, wow, that was a good story, a good match. He came out to the Shield's music and everyone was like, holy shit, like that was cool. But
mhm.
and part of it too, before that he faced Finn Balor for how many matches, and Finn doesn't really do it for me. So, nobody does it for me. Except for Gunther. uh
I don't think there's any pleasing you, Tom, with
I
Seth.
know.
So
Maybe that's it.
I think you just have a little vendetta against him. You just don't like his matches, his style, and that's fine. He's not everyone's cup of tea. I don't know how this match is going to go. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We haven't really got it really storyline yet. It seems like we're heading in a direction where Drew he's got the slowest like heel turn of all time right now, and like ever. He's like he wants to be a heel, but he kind of is like just he's dipping his toe in a
Dipping
little
his toe
bit.
in.
He's like, you know what? I don't know yet. So it could turn out to be a major thing where he officially really hurts his back, right? Maybe, and then puts him. I don't know. I'm expecting Rollins to take some time off here. That's the reason why I expected that Shinsuke Nakamura match to go in the opposite direction. I thought that's how they were going to play. I thought it was a perfect opportunity for them to cash in the Money in the Bank. I thought it could have spawned a couple different angles for him, but yeah, we'll see how it turns out at Crown Jewel. Again, like you said, we're only a day into this angle, so we'll see
Right.
how it plays out for the next 3 weeks. Maybe we'll have more info in the next week's show, but I'd like to let it simmer, let it cook a little bit.
And something interesting on that, dipping his toe in the heel water, dipping his heel in the water, we'll say.
Mm.
Drew McIntyre, a clip with when Ricochet was looking for Shinsuke Nakamura in the back, he grabs Adam Pearce. Lo and behold, in the background, Drew McIntyre talking to one Rhea Ripley, mommy, with her belt shining. You could see them talking in the background. What were they talking about? Who knows? Maybe Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day? Timmy, is there a possibility that we get Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre? They're both laid out. Here comes Damian Priest to cash in. And I thought it was going to happen with Shinsuke. Maybe it happens with Drew. And the Judgment Day betrays him. Drew becomes the new leader of the Judgment Day, wins the title, and they kick Damian Priest out. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's all going to play out. I don't know why you're not writing for the WWE. It's unbelievable. I'll tell you what, your projections have been pretty bad, pretty bad lately. I mean, look, I love it. I love it. I just don't.
I'm
I don't
always
know.
throwing stuff against the wall, Timmy.
Yes, you are. Every time I think the WWE has a perfect storyline, they kind of zag from where we think it's going to go. I don't know what they're doing with the Judgment Day. There are some leaks in there. It seems like they're starting to plant some little nuggets left and right in the Judgment Day. We've seen them trying to recruit people, and then the whole thing with JD McDonough, and it's kind of all over the place. It just doesn't. I don't know where it's going to end. If it does end, maybe it continues to go on. Maybe it doesn't. But they are throwing a lot of stuff out there that suggests that there could be some cracks, right? And the Drew McIntyre, like, look, mommy's obviously the leader of this faction. She's wheeling and dealing with Paul Heyman with the bloodline. She, did that whole thing last on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown. I forget which one it was.
Monday Night Raw, yep.
And then she's in NXT. Like, it's just Judgment Day is everywhere now. And I just don't know which direction it's going to go. It really is difficult to tell.
Yeah. And like you're saying with the leaks in Judgment Day, a big leak and a big problem. JD McDonough taking out Damian Priest in their tag match against Jay and Cody Rhodes. A good match, started the PLE for Fastlane. Jay and Cody end up winning the titles. Nice pop, good story. A lot of action, obviously people getting involved all the time with the Judgment Day. Now they don't have the tag titles, and Jay and Cody have it. So Jay and Cody come out Monday Night Raw. Here comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We're challenging you to a title match. The title match happens, main event of Monday Night Raw. Jay and Cody end up winning. At the end, they all shake hands, and all is forgiven. Jay, you're okay by me. Cody gives him the handshake. Sammy gives him a hug. KO reluctantly comes in. All right, we're all good, this and that. Where I was surprised that Judgment Day lost the tag titles. I didn't think that Cody and Jay needed them. Where is this going? I'm not really sure. Is there going to be some sort of jealousy now that Sammy, doesn't have the titles? Or I don't understand where this is going.
It's strange because this is one thing that I've suggested in the past, not suggested, but like I said, why do Sammy and KO have the titles? Like, they're both individual superstars that it's not going to be able to be sustainable. It's the same thing with Jay and with Cody. It's like, unless they just decide to hold on to the titles and they pursue, I mean, Jay Uso is wearing a shirt that says main event Jay Uso. I don't remember the last time that a main event had a tag team in it, right? Like, that's not what we're looking for here with Jay, right? That's not the direction that we're heading with Jay. Same thing with Cody Rhodes. And for that matter, KO and Sami Zayn too. Like, these guys have to shed this like tag team stuff and really start getting embroiled into some storylines, because I mean, it's been forever since any of these guys have been involved in storylines. I mean, the bloodline obviously with Jay, but like the other three, I mean, Cody and Brock, that was a good storyline for 3 months, right? And we never really got the bottom line of that. We're still looking for the answer on why that happened. Obviously it was because Roman Reigns had to take off for a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Sammy and KO really haven't, they were in a feud with each other for a little while in the bloodline. Like, it's just They
then
have,
they've all feuded the Judgment Day like
yeah,
together. So
yeah,
when are they going to start having their individual feuds? We need like a real twist here, something happening that's progressing individual stories of these guys. If you're not going to have are KO and Sammy just going to be tag teams for the next year and they're a tag team now? Are we moving other people into these main event spots? If so, let's move them and get the stories moving forward. I just it's not
yeah.
sustainable, like you said. So I don't understand why they did it just to have them lose them. I don't
And
know.
then we have some like half-ass storylines that are just not really developing at all, right? Like we have the Bobby Lashley and whatchamacallit,
Yeah. The Street Profits.
Street
They're going
Profits.
against LWO and they lost.
Yeah.
Why? We're
It's
building this to lose. It's reminding me of how they used to book Dolph Ziggler.
yeah. Uh yeah, and it just I don't know. Maybe their writers were on strike too. I thought I don't know what's going on, but it just seems kind of stale. And maybe they're just holding off because you see this. It's funny. We talked about this the other day. Like SmackDown on Friday night upcoming is their season premiere, right? And
Right.
we're like, wait a second, what's been going on this entire year? Like, so if they're considering SmackDown this Friday, their season premiere, maybe they're just holding off on some storylines and development, and yeah, they'll start really pushing some different things onto these superstars. But like, just we can't keep on running them out doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. Like the tag team titles on Cody and Jay, yeah, it was a cool moment, right? They ended up winning the titles the other day, and that was fine. It was a good match. It was fun. But like, all right, now what? It's like,
We need to split them up. I mean, they need
yeah,
to be split up. And how are they going to do that? Some way they need to say, okay, your title, we're putting the SmackDown titles on the line, not both, not the undisputed, just one. Or like they did with Seth Rollins, create a heavyweight tag team champions and a undisputed tag team champions. Whatever you want to do, two separate belts. The one show doesn't it's not enough. There's so
we
much
need like
talent.
we need like an old school like Miss Elizabeth where like yeah, like Cody sleeps with Miss Elizabeth, or yeah, Jey
Mm,
Uso's wife. And all this, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like a little. Where's where's what's her face? What's her name? May.
Mae Young.
Where? Yeah, where's May Young when you need her?
Oh my God. With the hand coming out with sexual chocolate.
Yeah,
She
let's
gave
bring
birth
her.
to a hand, right?
Let's bring her back. Get her involved. We got to get like Sable and all those girls.
Brock Lesnar's wife. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
So Judgment Day and Jay and Cody have a title match this week coming up on the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. Any chance maybe someone gets involved to try and help Jay and Cody and costs them the title? And maybe that's where we start to see some individual stories. If Sammy comes out seeing the Judgment Day's numbers or KO, if KO comes out and accidentally hits Jey Uso and costs them the title, then it's like, okay, now these two can feud. That I'd love a Jay KO match. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just little things. We just need something. We need something of substance. That's what we need. We can't just keep on running these guys out. Look, we like the story of Jay coming back and having to earn his keep, right? That was a good storyline. But I
Can't
mean,
be over. He didn't can't
it
just earn it now in one
it,
week. It's
it
all
got
good.
it. They fast forward it, right?
Yeah.
That was it. They fast forwarded it. Like it was like great. Okay, everyone shake his hand. He's good now. And
All's
now that
forgiven.
yeah, now that angle's over. I guess it's
Jay
like
next week's on like the man, those bloodline guys are really jerks, huh? Uh so we don't like how they just kind of bear when is Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits gonna start just kicking ass like they should be? Jay and Cody seems unsustainable, so maybe Judgment Day takes the titles back next week. I don't know. I want to talk about the Bloodline. Now, this Friday will be SmackDown's season premiere. And for the first time in over 2 months, our undisputed heavyweight champion, acknowledge him, Roman Reigns, will be on SmackDown. The people that will be having to answer to Roman Reigns on SmackDown, Solo and Jimmy Uso. They lost to John Cena and LA Knight at Fastlane. This is not acceptable in the Bloodline. Roman doesn't accept that. It's not allowed. I'm sure he's going to be upset. Before we get into what Roman's going to say, your boy LA Knight showed out, and it's almost like I was like, yeah, what, or I should say, yeah, when he was doing his stuff. I mean, when he jumped up to the third rope and did the move without a hitch, I was like, he did it. A good match under his belt there. No, I didn't see any missteps. I didn't see anything like that. The crowd ate it up, and they're really putting him over, and I was really happy to see it.
Yeah, no, he's thrust into a main event status. I mean, with those 4 individuals in the ring, it's clear that he's arrived. He's in the ring with it's him and Cena. It's Solo, it's Jimmy Uso, right? And he carried himself well. He represented himself well, and I'm pissed now after that match. Like you said, the same thing. It's like watching because like we were at the forefront of this thing. A lot of us that really were clamoring for LA Knight. He's got this momentum, and you're like watching him as he progresses, right?
Right.
And I said this a few months ago when this was beginning. Like, look, now that they're starting to give him some time, it's on you now to deliver. So, every match you're watching, it's like you're watching your own kid. Like, you're like, come on, like you got this.
Yeah.
And then the one match, he tried to do that top rope move and he fell off twice, and you're like, oh god,
it's over.
Like, car crash. yeah. God, they're gonna bury him again.
They're gonna bury him.
And then finally he gets into a situation where he's in the main event, right? He's got main event talent around him. He's got John Cena. He's got all these other guys, Bloodline, that have been embroiled in this huge storyline for over 3 years now. And he delivered, man. He really delivered. He executed his moves flawlessly. He gets in, he does his LA Knight elbow drop. And it's just cool to see him finally get to that stage right now. You see really like his progression as a wrestler and how you do it in the WWE. Like he started out, small and getting these little wins over like, Austin Theory, and like, they build him up in a feud with Mike the Miz, right? And he's doing mic work, and they're testing him in different avenues, and they put him with Paul Heyman, and then he's finally pushed and thrust into the Money in the Bank match, and it was really cool to see where he's at and where he's come from. And I think it's nothing but sky's the limit for him right now, man. He's hitting on all cylinders. He's got the Slim Jim commercial going. It's just his merchandise is through the roof. The guy's hitting on all cylinders, like I just said.
Yeah, and we all know whose game it is, with everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. So he's going to be on SmackDown. Roman's coming back, which I'm very excited for. I know it's been a long time, and this is part of the appeal of now. I will agree with you. He's been gone for too long. We've mentioned before there should have been some vignettes, some stories, some interviews in these last couple months. Just putting him on the TV doesn't necessarily have to be there, but him being there this Friday when that music hits, I'm excited. It's okay. Daddy's home, and we're gonna see what's going on. And will this finally be the beginning of the development of these storylines? Are we finally, no pun intended, on the fast lane now to building for Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Mania? So Roman comes out. What do you think he's doing? He's going to be seeing Jimmy Uso for the first time in a long time now that he's back in the bloodline.
What if he like comes back with like he's just like he's got gray hair, he's got like a long beard, he's all like
Yeah.
he's all withered,
Looks
like he
like
hasn't worked
fat
out.
fat
Yeah,
Thor.
yeah. He's doing it one up, and everyone's like, who is this
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, acknowledge me. Yeah.
um no, I mean, look, I hope to see well, he's going to pick up where he left off. Obviously, he's one of the top stars in WWE for a reason. It's funny that like I was listening to the Pat McAfee show, and yeah, obviously he was in Indianapolis for Fastlane, and he said that he had talked to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman like let himself go, and he's like, Paul, what's going on with you, man? Like your hair's gray, you're like really balding, like your suits are just out of. He's like, my tribal chief has been gone.
Heyman's the goat, dude.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting for him to come back. Yeah, he'll probably have the mic for about 25 minutes in the ring, and talk about everything that's been going on. And obviously with his focus being on Jimmy Uso and Heyman, and probably address the Bron Breaker thing tonight that happened. It's going to require probably a good half-hour segment for him to come back. It's going to be a huge chunk of time. That's going to be really, it'll set the tone for, I guess, this season for SmackDown. It'll be it'll be
this
fun.
season.
It'll be fun to see.
Yeah, any chance Braun Breaker comes out with him?
I doubt it.
Yeah, that's a tease though, man. I would love Breaker to join Bloodline. It's immediately like, wow, that's a force to be reckoned with.
I just don't see the connection there.
Yeah.
Like, look, Paul Heyman, there's no connection there either with him. I mean, he's just got selected to be the wise man, right? Whatever.
Well, there's connection with the old family, with his grandfather and uncles and stuff like that. Paul Heyman was with all those guys.
Sure,
Back,
but
I think his first job was with High Chief and Rocky Johnson.
sure, but I'm saying like he's not legitimately part of the bloodline. I mean,
Right.
he's so
Yeah.
I guess they can move in that direction, but there's got to be some more juice injected into this thing.
Right.
And it has to be something more than this whole like Jimmy Uso, I'm a crazy guy. I'm a wild and crazy guy.
Yeah.
Like,
who knows what Jimmy Uso gonna do?
Yeah. Him and look, Jay's not there, obviously, and Solo doesn't do anything for anyone. It just screams and puts his thumb at people's throats. That's it. Yeah. So
misses half the time.
Yeah, we gotta come up with some new blood, some new juice into that whole storyline, and hopefully he gets it to us on Friday night.
Oh, Braun Breaker would definitely add some juice to that bloodline. So back to Monday Night Raw. Big match, triple threat, really entertaining. We had Ricochet, our guy, Chad Master Gable, and Bronson Reed. The winner of this match was going to be facing Gunther for the Intercontinental title this week on the season premiere of Raw coming up. Great match. It had Ricochet being attacked from behind by Shinsuke Nakamura, which helps him in the loss because he was beat up before, he was hurt. Chad Gable suplexing Bronson Reed every week. This guy wows and does something with the suplex. He can suplex anybody. It's incredible the strength he has. And Bronson Reed, I'm really becoming a big fan of Bronson Reed's work. And I thought even on the mic, he was pretty good when he was backstage with the Alpha Academy. And I thought he was getting better on the mic. In the ring, he does moves. Of course, he's with Ricochet and a Chad Gable, which I think are perfect for him as far as the contrast in size and style. He can be that big brute that when you run into it, it looks like they run into a brick wall, and nobody sells it better than Chad Gable and Ricochet. And he can toss these guys around because it's not as heavy as, Otis or somebody like that. Great match. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Really fun. Bronson Reed comes out. What do you think of that finishing move, Tim?
I
That
mean,
splash has to kill.
it's devastating. Look, it's no coup de grace.
Yeah, yeah.
As you know, I've been critical of that move, but
That's
he,
part of the reason. I mean, not to go back to, but that's a move that is what I'm talking about, where it doesn't sell to me. He does the coup de grace and he lands, and you can tell he's buckling his knees so that it doesn't make the impact, and that's to keep the other wrestler safe. But when Bronson Reed does that thing off the top rope, you're like, holy shit,
yeah,
dude!
like
It's a wow,
yeah,
impressive.
there's no, there's nothing safe about that.
No,
I mean, if you look at both the moves, right? Like, it's a a 175-pound man in Finn Balor jumping on your chest, right? Or a 345-pound man coming off the top of the rope and landing on your chest with all his weight.
yeah, the
Like,
whole ring just shakes. It's like,
yeah.
whoa.
So I actually enjoyed this match too, as well. And the only thing I had an issue with is just the outcome, just because the guy that we've talked about, and look, I know everybody can't get a push, but like Chad Gable again loses. This is like back-to-back weeks now that he's lost, and he's getting pushed back down the ladder again. It's just like, why are we doing this? Like with these guys, like that have, they get over, they have the talent, they have the momentum, and then big Bronson Reed comes up, and why him? It feels like another Vince McMahon like push, because Bronson Reed's a big guy, and he's he looks the part, right? He's got like like this is what Vince McMahon used to love. That's why he loved Andre the Giant, right? He was
Right.
just a
Oh, Maz.
abnormal size human being. Yeah. Like these guys that can just dominate you physically, uh, and they get the push. And Bronson Reed has been pushed a few times since he's been up. I mean, he was in the Elimination Chamber. We talked about this last week. Um, he's now, winning these. I think that was the triple threat match, was number one contender match, right?
Right. So the winner faces
For the
Gunther
Intercontinental title.
this Monday on the season premiere of Raw.
Yeah. So we'll see him against Gunther. It'll be a good match, I think.
It just
Now
you
that's going to
think,
be in it.
Timmy, you're watching this match now, Gunther versus Bronson Reed, right? In your mind, you have to think there's no way Bronson Reed wins this match. Not that the guy isn't talented, and we just gave him credit for his in ring, and he's entertaining to watch, but he has zero momentum to win the title off of Gunther. If you had a Bronson Reed come out and you have all this built up time with Gunther winning the title and Bronson Reed wins, it's going to be, everyone in the crowd's going to go, what? It has to be a Gable type.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we look, we just talked about storylines and all that stuff. What is the storyline there? There is no storyline with Bronson Reed. He's just a guy. He's just a brute that comes out and, he gets thrown into this match, really. Ricochet doesn't have any storylines with Gunther. The only one that does is Chad Gable.
Yeah.
So like and it just doesn't make much sense, right? It just doesn't make much sense to me. And I don't know. Maybe they're starting a storyline with it. I don't know.
I
But
think the match is going to be great. I think these two, it's going to be another one of those matches we love, and it's going to be a lot of wow moments. If Gunther can powerbomb Bronson Reed, that's going to be a wow moment. Bronson Reed coming off the top on Gunther will be, whoa, is this really happening? But in my mind, I think there's no way Reed wins this match. And part of the best part of a match is not knowing who's going to win. And it just, to me, mathematically, it can't be Reed. There's no, for whoever beats Gunther is going to be, you're looking for that major pop at the end, the major crowd pleaser. the major, yes,
Sure.
finally, this is the moment. This is the guy to take him down.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. I think the same thing. I just need look, this is the male version of soap operas. Like this is Days of Our Lives with athletes, right? And then a squared circle. I just don't to my point, okay. Ivar has more of a storyline than anybody right now. Ivar is one half of the Viking Raiders, and he's been feuding with other halves of tag teams, and he's doing these Viking matches, right? He's embroiled in these matches with the New Day, right? He's taking all these guys on, and it's he's building up his character, right? And he's got a journey ahead of him, right? And he's doing these matches, and he's proven himself, and it's like it makes for a cool story. I look forward to seeing him, each week. Like, all right, what else can this guy do, right?
Uh-huh.
Whereas, like, there's some of these guys are just being tossed into matches without any sense. I'm just wondering why we can't create something for other individuals. And again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but like, let's just see some development. Let's see some entertainment. That's what the last letter is in WWE, right?
I thought it was Elias.
I wish it was Elias. Rest in peace, Elias.
Yeah. Shout out to Ivar, who I want to say this is the third or fourth week in a row. And if we missed a week, it's been several weeks, even if it was the tag team stuff that they were doing with Alpha Academy. And I think he's finally gotten a chance to kind of showcase what he can do. And another guy similar to Bronson Reed, just this mammoth of a human being that can move out there, and his kicks are great. The heel kicks, he crushes people, and these moves and the moonsaults off the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in love with his character in the ring. I feel like, wow, this guy is a lot more than I ever thought he was. I just thought he was a big guy that could take a beating, I guess. But he can put out, and for his size to move the way he does, I just think he's handcuffed by his character. It's a shame that he's this Viking Raider, and I don't know if he can ever be in that main event level. Maybe for like a title match where you have a Seth Rollins gets attacked by the Viking Raiders and has to fight him at a minor PLE just to, keep the title, and then you move on. But this character isn't, as we talk about sustainability, this is not one that can, put
and
you over the top.
And I really think the only reason why he's getting this is because Eric is hurt, right?
Yeah.
Like the other guy is hurt. So like he's not getting much tag team work. And the tag team division is obviously suffering because they're putting belts on, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So the tag team division hasn't been good in years.
It's
Probably
a
2
mess.
years, I would say. And like like just to prove that, like they keep on putting remember Randy Orton with
RK Bro.
RK Bro, and then he left, and then they tried to do it with Drew McIntyre, and they tried to it's just like, all right, man, like there's just no developmental tag teams. I mean, Pretty Deadly's out there now, but like other than that, I mean, it's just it's bare.
Well, they said DIY is coming back. They teased that, and they're a fun tag team to watch. But Alpha Academy isn't even really doing the tag anymore. You got Viking Raiders, or one of them's injured. New Day is doing individual against the Viking Raiders. They're not doing tag right now. And not the mix and match tag, the real tag teams, like this is a tag team. That's what they do. They're not individuals that were put together. They're a tag team. They've totally been missing that for years, Timmy. You're right on. But
like
shout out to Ivar for taking that opportunity. He's been given an opportunity, which is your buddy gets hurt, and that's like obviously a setback for that tag team. But he's made the most out of this individual run right now. So kudos to him, and hopefully it does something for him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So tonight was a big night, Timmy. NXT, and we had NXT going against AEW. And let's just name some of the people that were on NXT. First of all, the main event tonight was Bron Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes, which are probably the two biggest stars in NXT right now. You had LA Knight show up. You had Cody Rhodes show up. John Cena shows up. Judgment Day with Mommy and Rhea Ripley and Dom. There's a title match there for Dom. And at the end of the night, the Undertaker, the American Badass, shows up. Timmy, what was the message WWE was sending to AEW tonight?
Yeah, I in my opinion, I think they were just flexing their muscles here. Look, you just had Edge leave the company. He just signs with the AEW. His debut match is tonight on AEW too as well. He's in the main event. Yeah, and they went 30 minutes commercial free. There's a lot of advertising behind it. And I just feel like it was just WWE flexing their muscles, saying, "Hey, look, you can have Edge. All right, our promotion's way better. Okay, and it's not even our best promotion. Like we have Monday Night Smack, we have Monday Night Raw, we have SmackDown, and this is supposed to be our developmental promotion in NXT, and we got a lot of firepower. You guys aren't even sniffing us." And I feel like that's they brought out all the big guns tonight just to kind of really flex their muscles and show the world that they're still the number one promotion, and it's not even close. Now I feel like it was more look, the bringing out the Undertaker ratings grab, bringing out LA Knight as a special guest referee. That was just announced during the show, so like there wasn't any promotion behind that. We did hear the gong on the NXT promotion last week, and we're like, wait, is that Undertaker's bell there? Like, what's going on there? So everyone had kind of like a little nugget on that, so I guess people would tune in to see if the Undertaker is actually going to show up. The Cena stuff, again, ratings grab. You didn't need that. Paul Heyman came in, ratings grab. I just think it's all, it's just, I think it was a lot of like just ratings grab stuff. And honestly, I don't even really think that the NXT promotion needed to do that really at all. But whatever, if that's what you want to do, if you want to flex your muscles and just point and laugh at the at the little brother, then so be it. Rub his face into it a little bit and say, "Hey, you're still the little kid." All right, let's just. So, I mean, I just thought it was really good. I thought the show was really good. I thought the bar match was pretty fun. That was entertaining. The main event was really good. I thought the Dom match was really good too with Dragunov. So I thought it was a really well done promotion throughout the entire night. It was funny. I flipped over to the AEW and I saw Adam Copeland was wrestling some dude named Luchasaurus or something like that.
Luchasaurus, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that was the last match, and I mean that's like, if we're being honest, I mean, who we comparing Luchasaurus to in the WWE? Is that like I don't know.
Reminds me,
it's like
Damian Priest.
Really? So like, but I'm saying like that's like I don't know, a first hour match on SmackDown, maybe like the first or second match, maybe like if that.
Yeah, Luchasaurus. I mean, I guess he's with Christian now. They're like part of a group, but Luchasaurus is cool. He's not a big main event guy. He's not the top tier in AEW. That's not a knock on him. He's cool. He can move for a big guy. He has a cool look. I remember when AEW first started, and I said, "Oh man, who's this guy?" But there's no competing if you're separating AEW and WWE. The biggest divide is the big athlete and their ability. WWE has monsters. I mean, Drew McIntyre is a beast. Brock Lesnar, you got Bobby Lashley, you got when
Famous.
Sheamus, when they're healthy, Omos is one, and Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, these guys are all absolute monsters and would be the biggest guy on those shows. And Luchasaurus is big, but he's probably, I guess, one of their versions of the big guy. But I do have a couple problems with this NXT. One, they teased a big announcement, a huge announcement by Cody Rhodes online. You're seeing, oh, this is a huge announcement coming up, and huge. That was very underwhelming. Okay, he said that there's going to be the Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament. Well, what tag teams are we talking about, and what are they going to be in this tournament? They're going to do the like the shooting star, or what's like the rising stars or something like that tournament for men. That's all cool. And then he said he's going to be the general manager. I mean, I didn't see one wow announcement. So if you're going to be teasing, like, what's his name?
But
And
they
maybe
do
this
this all
was
the
a shot on AEW, because the owner of AEW, Tony Khan, always says, I have a major announcement coming out. He'll tweet it out. Da, da, da. And sometimes you're like, in the past, there have been some major announcements, but lately it's been like, okay, cool. It's just to steal the rating. If you're gonna say it's gonna be something, please deliver on it. Don't say that it's like build up for this and then just, oh, he's the general manager of NXT tonight. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's look, this is what they always do. They do this a ton. Like, oh, we're gonna have a huge announcement, and then it's something like minor. And you're like, really? Like,
Yeah.
there's got to be something else coming. And
Yeah,
then you watch
right.
the whole and there's like nothing. You're like, okay. um, but yeah, we saw another sneak peek of Jade Cargill. Right, she showed up.
She is
Um,
something. She
yeah,
is something.
she looks like she's ready to rock. So we saw that, and then there's just look. I don't mind. Everyone knows when the Undertaker comes out. I mean, he's one of the greats, dude. Greatest of all time. They haven't rolled him out like a ton over the years. He just finished his last match, what, a year and a half ago, and they or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and I don't mind him coming back every once in a while. At least he's not trying to compete in real matches like Ric Flair was into his 70s. I guess he's 70 now. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't love, what's funny is the talent that would leave for AEW, and you had these guys that were on the undercard for so many years, and they were like the Dolph Zigglers that we talked about, and in different spots, they would be buried by these legends. And what happens to me is that they get buried, like a Braun Breaker, a guy whose career is just getting started. This isn't going to make or break his career, so maybe I shouldn't take it this way. But to me, a cooler moment would be, and I don't know if Undertaker could take his spear, but if when Undertaker was getting in and getting all the stuff, if Breaker laid him out, it would have been like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
this dude is. But then instead, you've got Undertaker who's struggling to even get into the ring, lay out this young, is in good a shape, pedigree kind of guy that should be pushed forward to the top of the list eventually. So it was cool. The Undertaker's bell obviously always gets the great reaction. A great reaction when they announced LA Knight. John Cena, I want to talk about him and the way I guess I called him Goofy Cena.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
with it's this animated Goofy Cena it's too much for me. And there's just no way saying that John Cena isn't an incredible. First of all, I love all of his, Make-A-Wish stuff is great, but even some of the Make-A-Wish videos I see now, he's being very goofy with these kids. He's turned into this cartoon character. Am I
He's
crazy?
no, because I've noticed a couple times where he in the last few weeks, like the whole "you can't see me" thing, he's made jokes about it. Like even when Braun Breaker was cutting his promo, he was like, he made a joke like he's like, I see you here standing here, or something like that. And Cena was like, wait, you can see me? It's like,
Yeah, everything's a joke.
all
And I
right, dude.
think
Like,
that's
what?
part of Jey Uso's problem sometimes, that he's always messing around. Like, yo, and I did when Cena, he Breaker did the stuff mocking Cena, was going to do the five knuckle shuffle, and Cena was like giving him a serious look. I was like, okay, all right, Cena, get serious, doggy. I need some seriousness here. There's a time for
Yeah,
fun, a time for serious, but lately, all I'm seeing is animated cartoon Cena. Where's the real guy?
yeah. No, it's kind of been a weird stint for him coming in now, and yeah, he's just announced that he's probably going to head back because the writer's strike is over. So I think we're going to see the disappearance of crazy goofy John Cena
Is he
pretty
going to
soon.
run
And
out and there's just going to be a smoke imprint, left of his body? That's all, folks. John Cena's out, right?
yeah, I mean, he's not in any meaningful storylines anyway, so it's no big deal. It was fun for a couple weeks, a month or so, but he'll head home. He'll be on his merry way, and we'll say goodbye, good
Yeah.
riddance.
And so, as we're getting ready to sign off here and coming to the end of yet another incredible episode of Jabroni Drive, I will say that as much as we are talking about it and acknowledging that maybe this cartoon, the episodes have been fun. The PLE was fun. The we talk about the throwbacks to the Attitude Era. Whoa, 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 and it's been fun, Timmy. And I feel like I should admit that I'm enjoying the show. It's entertaining. Let's start to get really develop into those storylines. Timmy, anything you got to say to the Schmidt Lavellites out there before we sign off on yet another fun episode of Jabroni Drive?
If you like today's episode, why don't you give me a hell yeah?
Hell yeah! We love
Have a
you.
nice
Until next week, my name's Tom Lavelle for Timothy Schmidt. This is Jabroni Drive. God bless you.